So for our global audience that might not
Yes.
understand some of the history of U.S. immigration, they may be coming of this issue new, maybe for political reasons or otherwise. You've been at this for quite some time, and you've seen all kinds of changes in U.S. policy towards immigration. Can you walk us through a little bit of the change that you've seen in your lifetime and that
Sure.
sparked your business from where policy was maybe 30 years ago and how you've seen the progression now and what impact that's had on the life of average immigrants coming into the US?
That's a very good question, Brian, and I rarely get it because we seem to always think in our lifetimes, what policies impact us and what has happened. If we go back to the end of the 1800s, there was really no immigration office. The actual office of immigration was within the Treasury Department, and that's where Ellis Island came to be. People will come into Ellis Island, they get a quick health checkup, and therefore you pay a small fee or a small fine, and you enter the country, and you're able to start working right away. That changed very quickly after that. Right before World War One, it moved to the Department of Labor and Department of Commerce, and it makes sense, right? An immigrant comes in, they can go to the Department of Commerce, they can go to the Department of Labor, they get their visa, they get their permanent residency, they get naturalization, they move on. But then after World War II, it moved to the Department of Justice. And once it moved to the Department of Justice, now the issue of immigration for the first time is an issue of legality. And we go back and forth between the 40s all the way to the 80s. Actually, 1986 was the last time that there was a comprehensive immigration bill passed under the Reagan administration to provide support to what then was considered a very large undocumented population, focused on the agricultural undocumented population, but there hasn't been anything like it since the mid 80s. Now, 2001 happens, 9/11 happens, and now it's moved from the Department of Justice under the Homeland Security. So now it's no longer, are you here legally? Now the question is, are you here to harm our country? So it has become far more difficult to be able to establish a process. And obviously, you just had an incredible show with Dr. Canizales talking about, young children, unaccompanied minors coming into the country looking for asylum. So now it's becoming more and more challenging, right? So we have, what you think in the United States, we currently have about 45 million foreign-born immigrants in the United States. Out of those 1 in 4 of those 45 million are undocumented. Out of the 45 million, we have 20 million that stem from Latin America. And what is something that most people don't understand, out of the 10 to 12 million undocumented immigrants, about a million are from Canada and Europe. But we tend to spend a lot less time in that million, but it's pretty much about 8% of the total undocumented population. And we really focus more on what's happening right now in our southern border.